And I will get mine downloaded. Okay, quick mask. All right, I'm going to open the pumpkin and the pineapple. We're going to cut the pineapple out. Now, get that one going. All right, so everybody can have this file. Get to the pineapple file. Okay. Make sure this is recording. So, quick mask is another form of selection. Last week we learned a couple different selection tools, but we learned that a lot of those tools have kind of drawbacks where they aren't able to select something that's super complicated. So when we got into things like the feathers of the bird, they weren't always perfect. And definitely if you were trying to select something that was on a busy background, that became even more difficult. Or if you're trying to select something, for example, like this pineapple, the tough part about selecting this pineapple is going to be these little cutout areas. So this area right here where we really don't want that white part to be included in our selection, because we want to be able to have it be see-through on our new file so we can see the new background. So we want to get rid of that. And then also, it's going to be really hard with the selection tools that we have to get some of these little, the pineapple has kind of little hairs and little bumps along the edge. So that's going to be really tough too. So that's why we need the quick mask. The quick mask is going to allow us to paint on a selection and pick what pixels we want selected and which ones we want. But the thing about quick mask, I'll tell you, you never want to start with this quick mask tool that I'm going to teach you first. You always want to choose a different selection tool, and then you're going to clean it up with quick mask. So quick mask is really just kind of the cleaner that straightens everything up, makes it nice and neat. But you always want to have a selection going first. So if you want to select this pineapple, what tool do you think would be a good choice that we have learned, our selection tools? What is it? I didn't hear. So quick select would probably be a good choice. Another one might be magic wand. Is that what you're going to say? Because it's not a plain background. Either one are really good choices. It really just comes down to like which one you like better. I'm going to use magic wand, but if you like quick select, that's fine. So we're going to do the best we can with one of those tools, and then we'll clean it up in quick mask. So I'm going to start by grabbing my magic wand over here on my tool. Again, if you want to use quick select because you like that one better, that's totally fine. I'm going to click in a white area in the background. Now my tolerance up here is set to 20. Okay, just so you know, if yours isn't set to 20, you might select more things than I'm selecting. And then, you notice that it didn't get the shadow very good. And there's also, like for me at least, there's a spot over here it didn't get. And then it didn't appear to get this, kind of hair here. And I'm not sure that it did the best job in terms of all these white areas. So now I could, since on the very top of my option bar, it does have the option that add to selection. So I could possibly get a little more, like I could get that shadow maybe if I click down there. So I could click 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And it's doing a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it's getting a little bit more. That's probably as good as I'm going to get it right there. It's still not perfect. I mean, if you zoom in, you can still see there's an area here that if I cut this out right now, it's going to take some of this white with it, and it's going to look obvious. But good enough. That's probably close enough as long as I'm that close. Now let me ask you, what do I have selected? I'll let you look. So I've got the ants marching around the end here. You can see them marching around the end. And I've got the ants marching around the pineapple. So what is selected? The background or the pineapple? Any thoughts? I can pick someone. Background. Okay, the background. So I really want the pineapple selected, right? Because my idea is I'm going to cut this out. So how do I get the pineapple selected? Inverse, right. So we go to the select menu up here in the menu bar, and we choose inverse. If you did quick select, you might not have to do that because you already have the pineapple selected. So it just depends on what tool you chose. Now I have just the pineapple selected because I have the ants marching here, but they are not marching around the side. So I have just the pineapple. All right, so now I want to clean it up with Quick Mask. I'm going to use Quick Mask to clean it all up. Quick Mask is actually not a tool. It's a different mode. It's a different world, so to speak. So down here on what's called your option bar, or I mean on your toolbar, is a little button kind of just all by itself, and it says Edit in Quick Mask mode. Click that one time. Okay, and you should get a mask or a color that's on your pineapple. Now, it might not be the same color as mine. Anybody have a different color than mine? What color? Purple. What do you have? Anybody have blue or green? What do you have? Green. All right, you can change. This mask is just showing you what was selected. So where'd that go? It's just showing you what's selected, okay? Yeah. Okay, so maybe you didn't get the inverse part done. So if that's the case, I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. Just one second. All right, so if you, first of all, if you do not have the same color as me, or if you have everything except the pineapple selected, I'm going to show you how to change that. Go back to that button and double click it. Okay. So do you need help back there? Okay. So here's the two things that you can set as options. Does the color that I just showed you, does it indicate whether it's a selected area or what they call a masked area, which means what's not selected? I think it makes more sense for that color to indicate the selected area. So set that to selected area. Anybody not able to find this dialog box? Raise your hand. And then color is just what color do you want that mask to be? You can pick any color you want. It just depends on what color the object is. I think since this pineapple has a lot of red and yellow, I think I'm going to pick blue because I think that it might be easier for me to see what I'm looking at if it's blue. So I just click on that little square. I come over here to my color picker. I choose blue, just up and down. I'm using this area. You could choose, purple or blue, but I think blue is a good choice. And I click OK. All right, so those are the two options that you should have. Everybody should have selected areas, and you should have a color of like blue or green or something like that. Click OK, and then you just have to go turn it back on again, because now it's off. All right, so let me tell you what you're looking at just a little bit. Did that fix yours? Did it swap back to, yeah, okay. All right, here's how this works. We are gonna paint on the selection. Anywhere that's blue will be selected. Anywhere that's not blue will be unselected. So all we have to do is grab a paintbrush up on your toolbar. Make sure it's just a plain old paintbrush because there's a couple different kinds there. And you don't want this one, you want the plain paintbrush called brush tool. All right, and then notice down on my option bar, let's just look at this really carefully. There's a couple things. First of all, I have a black square and a white square. You may or may not have this. You may have your white square on top of your black square, or you may have a different color. Some people might have a different color. This is actually a button. This little baby right here, the baby black and white squares, is a button. So click that one time just in case. That is going to set you back to black in the front and white behind it. And that's what we want, okay? Black and white are kind of magical colors in Photoshop. And you can even see, like, there's some little printouts right there. It says Quick Mask. Black adds, so that means black adds to the mask, which means adds to the selection. White subtracts or erases the selection. Okay, so we're going to use black and white to add to the selection or take away from the selection, just with those two colors. Another thing I want to show you here is this little button here. This is actually a button, a little arrow, black, white. Click that a few times. So see how you're bringing black forward and then you'd be painting with the black color. White, you're painting with the white color. Black, painting with black. Try X on your keyboard. Just look down at your keyboard and see that that also switches black, white, black, white. You're going to be switching a lot. Okay, so if you need to switch from black to white, that's how you do it. So here's how it works. Look up here for 1 second. Don't try to do it, just watch for a second. All right, so I have black adds. If I come over here and incidentally, remember I can make this bigger or smaller with my brackets next to my P key. So if I brush here, you can see that if I turn my quick mask off, my selection is going to follow it. Okay, see that when I turned it off, it followed it. And I double clicked it by accident, but okay. Now if I bring white forward, so look what happens when I click this little button and I bring white forward. Now it becomes an eraser. And if I erase it all and turn it off, the selection goes away. So now no longer is it following that because I took it away. All right, so hopefully you can see the power of that on your picture. So if you zoom in, you're going to need your navigator to zoom in to like this area here. Well, I would probably bring white forward, go over here, switch to white. So now I'm painting with white. And I can erase out these areas that have purple or blue. And this will end up, if I turn that off, you can see now I've got a little cutout with my selection. It followed where I painted. And you can see that I didn't do the best job. I can get down to the pixel level. I didn't do the best job here of painting. So I'll turn this back off. And yeah, I can see can you see where I messed up? I didn't get the blue here. So now I'll hit X on my keyboard to bring black forward. The black is going to paint the blue mask. And I can really get exact. I mean, I can pick individual pixels here to be selected. I want these pixels selected. I don't want, let me switch to X. I don't want these pixels selected. I mean, if I want to, I can really get exact about it. You don't have to get quite down to that level, but it's like coloring. The more exact you are, the more realistic it's going to look. So when you're coloring, if you color outside the lines, then it looks kind of sloppy and it doesn't look as pretty. This is just like coloring. It reminds me of coloring in a coloring book. So I'm erasing out that area. In between these little fronds is the leaves up here. I'm going to take out a little of that. And basically I'm just going around. Remember, I'm using spacebar to get the helping hand. So if you don't want to use your navigator, you can use spacebar. Hello? Okay. I don't. You would call the office because the book I have is an old book. And I don't think, well, I know. I don't know that he has a phone number, but you can call technology, the help desk. Yeah, it's 25800. Okay, bye. Okay. Okay. So that's what you're going to do for this. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for, a pineapple that is completely cut out. All these little areas are taken out. The very bottom, you'll want to go down and clean that up. And you would see why I just keep my hand on X, because you got to switch back and forth a lot. So sometimes you're erasing and then sometimes you're kind of redrawing the selection. And I don't think it hurts if every so often you kind of stop, turn it off, and look at where your ants are marching. I think it's better to kind of makes you understand, what exactly you did there. So I carved out this area with this mask. So I'm painting on a selection. And then down at the bottom, this is going to take you quite a while to clean all that up. Oops, X. I keep hitting C instead of X. And then I end up getting to the crop tool. All right. So I'm not going to wait while you clean this all up. You can come back and fix it more later. I'll show you what you need to do with it once you do get it cleaned up. All right, when you're done cleaning it all up, and I know you're not done yet, that's okay. You can come back in and clean this up later. When you're done, you're ready to cut it out. So once it's all clean and perfect and looks as good as you went all the way around the pineapple and you got all those little stray things that needed to be included, and oh, for some reason, there's this little spot over here, at least in mine, and I don't know what it is it's picking up, but that needs to be erased out. Another thing you want to check, make sure up on your option bar that you're at normal and 100% opacity. Anybody not at normal and 100% opacity up on the option bar, you want to turn that all the way up. Okay, because if you're only painting at half the opacity, it won't select it right. It'll kind of have this weird kind of like see-through. See how this is kind of see-through? That's not really a correct selection, so you want to make sure that this is all the way up to 100%. Okay, so once you get that selected, you cannot cut this out or copy it when you're in quick mask mode. So when that button is pressed, like mine is pressed, or another way you can tell you're in quick mask mode is look up there at the file name and it will say quick mask in parentheses. When you're in this mode with this mask, you cannot cut or paste. I mean, you can see, look, if I go to the edit menu, it's all grayed out. I can't get into it. So I have to turn off the button and get my ants marching before I can cut or copy. All the mask is for is to get things selected. So turn off the mask, even if you're not quite done. Again, you can come back and finish this in a little bit. Get your ants marching. Now you know you got it selected. And then you just do your copy paste. And if you don't want to copy it, you don't have to. But you are going to be copy pasting it into this document. And then you'll really see whether you did a good job. You can see here, I didn't do that good a job today. Because I was kind of rushing. So look at all the white part around here that I didn't quite get cleaned up. So I would probably just throw this layer out down here. Oops, I just made a copy. I would probably just take the layer and throw it out, and I would go back and finish doing a better job. But that's all you have to do for this is copy paste it. If it looks good, you can resize it, make it look like it's sitting in there with the pumpkins. But make sure that what I'm going to be grading you on is whether I see any white parts like that. And mine, if I were grading my own right now, I would probably get a C-. Because I didn't clean it up very good, but I didn't take very long. Okay, so that's the one. It's worth 20 points. Again, you don't have to finish it today. It's not due for a couple weeks. But let me tell you, listen really carefully to this because I'm going to save you some time. If you just spent a lot of time selecting this and doing your cutouts, but you don't want to finish it right now, you can save this selection. Now, if you just save the file, it will not save the selection. You got to save the selection and save the file. You got to do both. Here's how you do it. So go back to your pineapple. Make sure your ants are marching. You don't want to be in quick mask mode when you do this. Okay? And even if you're not finished yet, I would go ahead and save your selection. That way you can always get back to it. Go to the select menu. It's pretty easy. Down at the bottom it says save selection. And you're basically just going to give it a name. So right where it says name, I'm going to call this, I don't know, pineapple in progress. Just what I usually call my selections. So that means I didn't finish it yet. I'm still working on it. So I'll know later what it is. And if I do another selection, I add to it later on, I might call it in progress 2 or in progress 3. But this one is my most recent one, so it's in progress. And now I can deselect. I go to the select menu, choose deselect. The ants go away. And I save that file. You do have to, somebody first hour said, oh, you have to save the file too? Yeah, you have to save the file too. But when you come back in and open your file tomorrow, you'll just go to the select menu. You'll go to load selection. You should see pineapple in progress and click OK, and it'll load that selection back up. So I'd recommend doing that because you may not finish it today. And I do want to show you how to do the eyeball one. So if you can put that one aside for now. I know you want to keep working on it, but the eyeball one's really quick and easy. So let's work on the eyeball one, and then I'll leave you alone. All right, same deal with the eyeball. just like the other thing. You're going to quick mask it. You're going to make it, clean it up with quick mask. So I'm going to select the green part of the eye. I don't want the black part. I don't want the white part. I don't want the eyelashes. I just want the iris or the green part. So that's kind of like a donut-shaped selection. I want to select, all of this, but I don't want this to be in there. I don't want everything else. So the first thing I'll do is I'll make a circle around the whole, like the green part and the black part. So there's a good tool for making a circle selection. It's called the elliptical marquee, right? If you grab that one, it's the second one on the top. I will tell you this, just a little tip. Start with the low feather, okay? So something maybe 20. Some people were having trouble first hour because their feather was too high. So make it 20 because we don't want it to be quite as fuzzy. We want it to be pretty exacting. All right, and then all you had to do is draw a circle. And I know some people have a bit of a hard time. I like to come out here. I come out to the white part and I draw a circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you don't get it the perfect size, don't worry about it. And let go. So mine, there's a lot of parts that I didn't do very well. I didn't, there's a lot of white in here that I didn't want. And then over here, I'm cutting off a little of the green. That's okay, I can fix that in quick mask. Also, if you just didn't do a good job at all, just come back and make another circle. Okay? You can resize it, but we're not going to go into that right now. Just you can move, for right now, all you can do really is move it and redraw it. So if you didn't get it right, just redraw it and try it again. All right, that one was a little better. All right, but again, I don't want the middle part in my selection. So that's where quick mask is really helpful. So I'll go down and I'll turn my quick mask button on. Make sure you have your brush. If you don't have your brush tool, go grab it again. Make sure that you have black and white paint down here. If you're not sure, you can hit the baby button down here just to make sure that you have black and white. Sometimes people have like really, really, really dark gray, but it's not black. So that will mess you up. So I always just out of habit, I just hit that button just to make sure that I have black and white. Make sure that you have 100% opacity up here and that you have normal before you start painting. All right, so white is my erasure. Bring white forward. Hit X so that you're painting with white. And then all you need to do, this is really quick and easy, is take the selection out of the middle. So the blue part, and if blue is messing you up, you can change that mask to red or something. Okay, now I messed up other places. So now I overdid it a little bit. I think I'll come back in here. Up here. So right up here, oops, X. I went a little too far into the eyeball. So I'll clean that up. And just anywhere else. It just depends on where you kind of messed up. Like I messed up a little bit here. I can see. So I'll erase that out. I don't want that to be in my selection. Ooh, I got down into the eye too, didn't I? So just cleaning up my selection. Our goal here is going to be to get this eye selected because we want to change the color. Okay, we're going to make it a different color or a more vibrant green, or we can make it like a vampire eye or like an alien eye. But we got to get it selected first. You can't do any of that until you get it selected. All right. That looks pretty good. I don't know, yours might look better, but yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I got it all masked off. Oh, there's another spot I probably should have made smoother. And now I overdid that. Okay, nice and smooth. Okay. All right, once I'm done with my mask, I can turn it off and I get my ants marching. And it should look something like this, like a donut size. So it looks like a donut with the middle not selected and the outside not selected. Just the green part is selected. All right, now we can change the color. And you already know how to change color because you've done it before in your photos. Image, adjust, and there's actually two things. Hue and saturation is one way. We'll try that one. And this time you get to play. Remember I said don't touch the hue? Well, in this one you can touch the hue. And make sure that your preview has a check mark in it or you won't be able to see your changes. So you can see down below, it's kind of changing the hue. So that makes it kind of look alien-ish though. I'm not sure I really like that. I'm going to hit cancel, but you might like that. And I'm going to go image adjust color balance. I like this one a little better. So I hit cancel, and instead of using hue and saturation to make it look kind of like an alien, this one I'm going to try to enhance, like maybe I want to make it a greener. Ooh, I can make it super green. Okay, that might be a bit much. Maybe I decided, no, I'm going to give her blue eyes. So I could take the green back, and now I can add blue. And maybe a little cyan to really make it a bright, bright blue. So that's how you change somebody's eye color, is just get in there, get it selected. If you had the black part selected, it would look really fake. You just want the green part selected, just the iris. Once you're done with that, you're done with this. You can deselect, Command D, or go to the select menu, choose deselect. And you should have something that, whatever color you chose. And I don't care what color. You didn't have to choose blue. You could choose anything you wanted. All right, those two things are worth 20 points. I will be walking around to help you if you want, or you don't get to work on this today. So if you want to kind of put this aside and work on it a different day, the video will be on, I just taped this demo, so you can watch the video again if you want some other day. And if you want to work on your composition, that's fine. This is not due till probably next Friday, maybe even the week after. Don't forget when you save these things, they need to be saved as last name. Just click in the front. And then always confirm that you have a JPEG as what you're saving it as. Questions? Okay, so again, those are worth 20 points each. Tournament on Moodle. There is a third thing there, so if you want more practice with this, there's something called Skateboarder, and that is completely extra credit. You don't have to do that one. It's just for people that want a little extra practice, and it's the same kind of thing. You're going to cut that skateboarder guy out, and he's a little bit complicated. I don't mean his personality. He may be. I don't know. But you have to cut him out so that, all of these parts are not in your selection. So you'll have to use Quick Mask to get all this, his shoelace. You'll have to use Quick Mask in those complicated areas. And then you're going to put him wherever you want. I don't care if you put him on the moon. Okay, you cut him out, put him in a new spot. And that's worth 20 points extra credit. Okay. The rest of the hour is yours to work on this or something else.